going on, everybody? Man, Eric Wilson. Yes, in for the sports arena. Kind of shocking that the sports arena is going on a Thursday night, but there's a reason why. The conversation needs to be had, one that we need to make sure we continually draw attention to. And that is the fact that HBCUs have elevated to a new level, mostly in part to what Deion Sanders did at Jackson State. Now, he has moved on. So then everybody was up in arms about it. Some people were like, good for him. Some people were like, how could you do this? Well, now it's kind of the next man up mentality, if you will, because Ed Reed is about to become, or currently is, the new head coach of another HBCU in Bethune-Cookman, the Wildcats. So I wanted to have a conversation with my brothers about this. I put the call out, and one man decided he wanted to get on board with me tonight. Much love. Had this brother on the sports arena plenty of times before, and we'll have him on again. Y'all know it. It's the halftime show with my man Courtlandt Griffin is in the building. Good evening, sir. What's going on, brother? How are you?
Nothing much, man. It's just another good day in the sport of black sports. You know what I mean? So why not? Voice our opinions on it and put the information out there.
Exactly. Hey, by the way, I need to, after the show, I need to cop one of them hats, bro.
Hey, I'm New Year. Hey, you know what? New Year, we bring in the halftime show drip to everybody. How about that?
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. I got a sports arena polo with your name on it. But
Gotcha.
so man, let's get into this because the argument could be made that HBCUs were about to go back, take two steps back after Deion left.
Right.
And now the fact that Ed Reed has stepped in as the new head coach of Bethune-Cookman, it's one of those where I feel the attention will still be there, but will it be the same? Let me ask you that question to start the conversation.
You know what? And this may go against the grain. I don't think the attention is going to change. Honestly, I think the proverbial light has been shined on HBCU sports, and I think the interest has been built there. So I think honestly, if it does change, it'll be elevated because of the names that you have there. It's been a mixed bag of feelings. You know what I'm saying? Me and you both being attached in the sports community in the black sports world as we are, we've seen it. The mixed bag of feelings with Deion leaving. But like I've said, and I've tried to refocus that attention. Hey, Deion left. That's and it's right for him to elevate. I'm never gonna to shame a man for going and doing what he feels like is better, right? And moving on to better. But let's not forget about Eddie George, TSU. Let's not forget about Jacoby Jones, tight ends coach, Morgan State. Let's not forget about Hugh Jackson, head coach, Grambling. Get what I'm saying? Like, let's not forget about the guys that's still there grinding and now Ed Reed at Bethune-Cookman. These guys are still there. So I feel like the attention should elevate, if anything, or stay the same.
And that's where, a lot of my argument came from, because I'm very much on record saying, I don't understand why y'all mad at this man. He created the blueprint for y'all. He gave you the tools to be successful. Basically, and this is, I'm not trying to call anybody any names. What I'm saying is Deion led all the horses to water. All y'all got to do is drink, man.
Yeah.
Like, come on. However, there are those, one of them being a very good friend of ours, someone who I continually see you and him get into it in our little chat. My co-host of this show, The Sports Arena, Ray Lynn. Ray made a valid point. Ray said when we were all at the Black Sport Business Symposium in Atlanta, and Ray got to ask Deion a question, actually asked him two, it was you basically referring to Deion have said that we don't need to go to a Power Five, or we don't need to be with, we set our own standard. We are just as good, albeit maybe even better than some of these schools. There's no need for us to go to a Power Five conference, but yet and still, that is what Deion Sanders has done. Right. And while I understand where Ray's coming from, I don't agree, with his premise. So we have agreed to disagree, as him and I do, and I'm sure as you and him have done.
Right.
To those people who are on the opposite side of the spectrum, if you will, who feel like Deion sold Jackson State and HBCU a bag of goods, and then as soon as he got his bag, he said, well, I'm out. I always go back to Deion could have very much just said, I'm done, goodbye, but he made sure to leave where he was going and leave HBCUs in a much better place than where they have been.
Yep.
And he did it in 3 years. So to those individuals who are, I guess, on the opposite side of you and I, how do you approach that? Because I've tried to get people to understand, and there are those who just don't.
So the way I break it down to people is this. Because I found that that group breaks down to a subgroup, right? And a couple of different, but the biggest ones are people who were fans of HBCU sports prior to Deion, and then people who are fans of Jackson State / Deion Sanders. You see what I'm saying? And you know what I'm saying? And so now that he's gone, oh well, ain't no reason for me to watch it now. Well, when I approach it, I tell people, hey, just because Deion left, don't mean stop watching Jackson State. Just because Deion left, don't mean stop watching Southern. Just because Deion left, don't mean don't go to the John Merritt Classic. Just because Deion left, don't mean don't go to the Southern Heritage Classic. Just because Deion left, don't mean abandon HBCU sports. We all of us, right? Black people, Hispanics, whatever, right? Everybody has their particular teams, right? I got a Power 5. I'm a fan of a Power 5 school. North Carolina Tar Heel till I die. I'm Carolina Blue to the soul, right? But I love me some Tennessee State University. Like, I love me some TSU Tigers. Go Big Blue, right? I never stopped watching them, even though, hey, Carolina on. But guess what? Right down the street, off of Jefferson Street at the Gentry Center, I got to watch Robert Covington play ball. You know what I'm saying? Like, right. I got to watch these guys come, like NBA players that are now in the NBA come play ball at Tennessee State University. I got to watch that firsthand. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got to see guys up close and personal play ball. So it's I'm a fan of HBCU sports. Just because Deion Sanders left doesn't mean I'm going to stop watching it. And I tell people all the time, you can have your personal feelings about what Deion Sanders did. But if you're going to do what Deion Sanders, like what you're blaming Deion Sanders for, if you're going to leave with them, then stay on that side. Because you're just as bad. Because just because he left doesn't mean the support should leave too.
No, I agree. And I mean, I can step further. Bethune-Cookman's in Daytona Beach, Florida. You know how far that is from me? That's a 3-hour car ride. So I, out of many other people, have no reason, no excuse to be like, hey, let me get in with that media department. Let me cover them games. And as a black man, draw more attention. And, if I'm going to talk it, then I damn sure better be about it. You know what I'm saying? Right. So it's like, right. I have put a personal obligation on myself to start covering HBCUs, even though I didn't go to one. And many people know this. I'm a Big Ten boy. I am we are Happy Valley Penn State guy till I die. I'm to the whiteout party. So I know the importance of speaking to the college athlete, no matter where they are. Right. Has Deion and now Ed Reed and Eddie George and Hugh Jackson and others maybe opened my eyes to make me understand how important it is to be a part of the process, if you will? Right. Yes. And I'll take full accountability for not focusing on it more like I should have. But that doesn't mean I can't make the necessary changes and the necessary adjustments to further the cause. Because we always talk about well, what's going to be done? Where's the support coming from?
Right.
Okay, well, now Ed Reed is coming in. We started to see other head coaches as well as other celebrities, athletes start to begin to put money into HBCUs, whether they went there or not. So then my call is to all media members, specifically those of us who look like you and I.
Right.
Let's get to these HBCUs. Let's find a way to cover these games. Let's interview these players. Let's keep this conversation going. Whether we got the blueprint from Dion or we just decided to do it on our own because that's who we are, the end result should be the I won't say the evolution and I won't say the expansion. It should just be the recognition of HBCUs and their importance, not just in the world of football, but for us as sports individuals, yes, on the football level, on the basketball level, on the baseball level, on the tennis level, whatever.
Right.
I think it's important that we make sure we keep shining a bigger, brighter light on HBCUs, because again, I'm going off of the fact that the blueprint has been given to us. It's now on to us to make it happen.
Man, and that's the big thing. And I think before we get into the meat of the conversation of Ed Reed, right, the reason why we're here, I think you said it. You went to a Power 5 PWI, right? Penn State, right? Everybody knows what Penn State is. But like you said, admittedly, hey, you didn't know the importance, right? But I tell people all the time, I'm a sports historian. I love the history of sports. And I was lucky enough to grow up with a grandfather and uncles and aunts that attended HBCUs and taught me the importance because they knew I loved athletics. Hey, Too Tall Jones went to a HBCU. Richard Dent went to a HBCU. You know what I'm saying? Like Deacon Jones, HBCUs. Walter Payton, HBCU. Doug Williams, HBCU grad. These are players. This is how we as sports personalities, right? But as Black men, eventually I hope one day a father, you know what I'm saying, uncles, whatever, can teach our kids, hey, yeah, you see the Deion Sanders or the Shaq Leonards or the Jalen Hurts of the world, but hey, before them, there was a Too Tall Jones winning the Super Bowl with the Cowboys. Before then, there was a Richard Dent and playing with the Monsters of the Midway as defensive end. Before them, there was the Los Angeles Rams, Deacon Jones. Before there was a sack, he coined the term sack. He's the reason why we get excited about sacks in the NFL today. These are guys, Walter Payton, Sweetness from Mississippi Valley State, the GOAT, Jerry Rice. You know what I'm saying? Like, these are guys, Shannon Sharp, right? Savannah State. HBCU guys who have gold jackets, who are forever cemented and immortalized in sports that we got, some of us didn't get to watch, but we know about them. We can be educating these youngers, the youngsters and the people that are coming up under us that don't know about that or have forgotten. It's up for us to carry that torch. So, it's plenty of ways to bring recognition that doesn't have to be in the modern day, because history is forever. History is there for a reason. And I'm a big proponent of, if you know your history, right, and if you know the significance of it, and you know what those guys have to fight through, then you understand why they should be celebrating and why HBCU sports should be bigger and more supported than what they are currently.
I completely agree. So like you said, let's get to the meat of the conversation here tonight. Ed Reed, head coach, Bethune-Cookman, the impact that he's going to bring to this team from not only a head coaching standpoint, but from a Black man, and also from a defensive side. Like, I think that's the one thing I'm looking forward to, is I want to see what he brings to the table, his style of defense, if he brings that to Bethune-Cookman. And it'll be very obvious once he gets in there with them, with these young men, and we really see their style of play. But what is the one thing that you are looking for, Courtlandt, when you look at the new, if you will, Bethune-Cookman under Ed Reed?
I'm gonna go the flip side of what you said, right? I'm a person that looks at head coaches when there's a head coach of a football team, whether it be from the professional level or the collegiate level or even high school, right? You adopt, as a team, you adopt the personality of your head coach.
Okay.
Jackson State's players adopted the primetime persona. Whereas my theme music, the dancing, the swagger, you know what I'm saying? They adopted that. It was a bunch of, and I made this analogy the other night on a chat that I was in. I was like, it was like a bunch of little primetime Deion Sanders. You know what I'm saying? No matter what position they played, the swagger was there, the crap talk was there, but the need and the urge to win was also there. I think Ed Reed, being able to have watched Ed Reed at Miami and then with the Ravens, right? And just what he was never a talker per se. Like off the field, on the sideline, that was Ray Lewis. That was Ray Lewis's thing. Like, I'm going to talk, but I'm going to go out there and back it up. Ed was quiet. Ed was, you know what I'm saying? Hey, man, it is what it is. We just go out there and play football. But when Ed was on the field, it was jabber. He was going to talk. He was going to lay that hat. He was going to play defense a cerebral way, but he was going to talk too. He going to hit you, and then he going to talk, and he going to let you know he there. I can't wait to see that Bethune-Cookman team be about the business, right? On the bus, they quiet. On the sideline, they quiet. Doing warm-ups, they quiet. But when they go out there and they're playing, and in between them lines, they get the yapping at you, and they in your head, and now it becomes a cerebral game. And that's Ed Reed's alley, because it wasn't just about the physicality. It wasn't just about the physical ability. It was about that cerebral side of Ed Reed that no one really talks about, but everybody knows was there. You know what I'm saying? So I just can't wait to see that personality, that Ed Reed personality, show up in those players, because that's going to be something special to watch. Because we see it, you know, the stoicism that Eddie George has. You see it with TSU's team. The kind of quirky, happy-go-lucky nature of Hugh Jackson. You see that with Grambling, right? And now you're going to be able to see Ed Reed transform a program and put his personality stamp on that team. It's just going to be special to watch.
You know, as you were talking, the one thing that kept running through my mind was, do you remember, and I'm sure you do, the NFL 100 commercial that they put out where they had all the athletes and Goodell was giving a speech and Marshawn Lynch tries to go for the cake and the football hits the ground.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, Mike Singletary yells fumble and the whole place just erupts.
It goes crazy. Yeah.
Ed Reed, when you talked about being that silent assassin, if you will, Ed Reed was the guy that was just lurking around the corner to catch somebody. And I don't remember who it was.
I want to say it was Peyton Manning. I want to say he like leveled Peyton Manning through like a table or something.
He leveled, yes, he leveled somebody. And that was the first image that came to my mind when you were talking about just the team adopting his personality. That's going to be really telling to see how they come out and play under him and how this team is going to, you know, really elevate who they are. That right. Sense of identity that we always talk about when it comes to players and when it comes to teams. Do you have that sense of identity? Do you know who you are?
Right.
And I love that, because now that gives me a mindset to say, okay, let me see, whether it be offense, whether it be defense, let me see what these players are like, you know? So my last thing I want to talk to you about with regards to this whole situation is, so Deion, Eddie George, Hugh Jackson, Ed Reed, and I'm sure, and I apologize, I know there's more.
Jacoby Jones is at Morgan State as a tight ends coach.
Okay, Jacoby Jones. So my question then, Courtlandt, who's next? Because if the gates are open and we're starting to see this happen, then my next question is, who is going to be the next individual to come in and either take over an HBCU team as a head football coach, or be a part of an HBCU football team as either a tight ends coach, a defensive coordinator, a wide receiver coach, a quarterback, whatever?
There's two guys,
okay,
that I would love. One's a pie in the sky, but I feel like he's cut out for it. and one's a guy who I feel like the day he decides to step off the broadcaster's booth and become a coach, it's going to be special. The pie in the sky is Ray Lewis. Would love to see Ray Lewis go to FAMU or Arkansas Pine Bluff or Howard or somewhere like that. One of these HBCU schools or Clark Atlanta, and just and to see what Ray Lewis's personality in a team. Not only is that scary, but that's going to be something to watch, because that brother played football from the time he walked in to the time he left. It was the same dude. He might have lost a little bit of a step, but he was still hitting. He was still going to give you 100%. He was still going to talk. He was still, you know what I'm saying? And Ray Lewis is the same now that he was then. So just imagining him as a coach would be amazing, right? But the other guy that I think could be more realistic, right, would be Steve Smith Sr.
Okay.
And like I said, the day that he decides to be a coach, because seeing him at the combine, like when the NFL Network, when I was kind of first kind of getting into and developing my voice as a analyst and like broadcast, like my dream as a high school kid, right? I watched Stephen A. Smith, but then I watched NFL Network and like the combine stuff. And of course, they had Deion Sanders was an analyst. They had other professional football players that were analysts, and Steve Smith was one of those analysts as the wide receivers guy. And just hearing him, how he talks about the game, and well, you see how this guy breaks down. Well, he's flipping, he's not turning his hips, he's turning his shoulders, and that's going to get him caught, you know what I'm saying, in the lead, because corners are going to read that, or, you know what I'm saying, the way he, you see how he starts out and they accelerate, like it's, you hear the coaching and the ability to teach there. He's been around the Carolina Panthers team, you see what I'm saying, like as a mentor to DJ Moore. We see after DJ Moore kind of talked to him, he elevated.
Right.
So, and we've seen that with another guy who's now head coach in Eddie George. Eddie George talked to Derrick Henry, and Derrick Henry exploded into what we see now. He wasn't always that guy. He had the ability, but it was a guy that had to get in his ear and say, hey, man, you are bigger, faster, stronger than everybody else. You need to play like it. Steve Smith did that for DJ Moore. We see that DJ Moore is now becoming one of the top 15 receivers in the league. So I would love to see that guy go to a North Carolina A&T or North Carolina Coastal University. You know what I'm saying? Like one of those teams, you know what I'm saying, in that area, and just be that kind of coach. It doesn't have to be a head coach. It can be a wide receivers coach. It can be an offensive coordinator or something like that. But I would love to see that guy. But if I had to put my money on it, I think that fire is going to get lit, because all of a sudden we've seen Deion is very close with Ed Reed. And then Ed Reed is also very close with that guy, Ray Lewis, number 52. But if I had to put another bank on it, Reggie Wayne has been a wide receivers coach in the NFL. And it don't look like he's going to stay around with the Colts too much longer. I would love to see him be a head coach. I would love to see that. I would love to see, because he's another Miami guy. He's got the swagger, but he also has that Hall of Fame acumen as one of the greatest wide receivers to ever play the game. That can come in and also be a coach. And he has NFL caliber, has NFL position coaches, coaching up under his belt, coaching guys like T.Y. Hilton and others. So I would love to see one of those three guys, if not all three of those guys, come out and put the HBCUs, just pick one and change those programs.
There is one guy who I would like to see, but right now he's the running back coach in Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
And that's my man, Deuce Staley. I just feel like
I was going to say that. His
ability to lead, I think, is something that I have seen the player both on and off the field. And when he was in Philly as our running back coach, you just saw a different level with our running backs. And now he's in Detroit. And DeAndre Swift, I mean, that young man, listen, if, like you were saying earlier, if Deuce is in his mind, letting him know, brother, you are one of the best backs in the league. You need to go out there and show it to people. And he elevates himself to that level. I would love to see Deuce Staley at an HBCU because I feel like just who he is. You talk about that silent assassin. He was a man, another one who didn't really do a lot of talking.
Man,
But
not at
I'm telling
all.
you, when he came through that hole that the offensive line created for him, listen, there's a
It was
reason
hell on
he was called
wheels.
Deuce, baby. Okay.
And he was the running backs coach, if I'm not mistaken. He was the running backs coach on the Super Bowl team, right?
Yes.
So yeah, man. So
Yeah.
yeah, y'all had
Yeah.
some dogs in that backfield.
Yeah, we did. Hey, my brother, thank you so much for joining me tonight here. I
Oh,
really appreciate this, man. I know you're always dropping new stuff, and we definitely
man,
gonna have you back on the show, especially during the NBA season,
for
because
sure.
now that the big guard is allowed
It's
to be
back.
on camera again, I need to get you, the sports reporter without pay, and the big guard together because the three of y'all, I'm just gonna sit back and watch because that is classic entertainment. You hear
Oh man,
me?
we coming for that top spot, man. We trying to look. If anything, I love. If I ain't never told y'all before, bro, like I love y'all. Like y'all my dogs. And anytime I'm available, hit me up because I know if I call on y'all gonna be there. So you know what I'm saying. It's always love being on this show and being able to support. Y'all know I'm always, you know what I'm saying, in the audience. But if y'all ever call me about the audience, I'm there too. So.
Oh, listen, during basketball season, there might be more Courtland and less of one of us because I know and I say this all the time, man. Y'all put out some great content, but stop silencing yourselves, man.
For sure.
Share the love with the world because they need to hear y'all. But my brother, much love to you. Happy New Year. We definitely gonna talk and we gonna talk, man. It's
man,
always
I can't
love.
wait, man. 2023 is bringing some big things for all of us. I can't wait to see what it is.
Ladies and gentlemen, my brother right here, the halftime show with Courtlandt Griffin. Make sure you check him out, man. And you know I'm gonna hit you up when WNBA season comes around.
Oh, for sure. I can't wait for the draft. I can't wait.
We got as soon as I find out when they do the draft, I'm gonna hit you up.
For sure.
All right, that's gonna do it for us, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna holler at y'all. Don't forget Monday nights, Wednesday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern. It is the Sports Arena. Your man Eric Wilson. Happy New Year, everybody. Peace.